On behalf of the Sun Belt Conference, welcome to the 2024 Hercules Tire Sun Belt Football Championships, hosted this year by the University of Louisiana. Today's press conference will include the head coaches for both teams and 2 student athletes from each team, and that'll be followed by Sun Belt Commissioner Keith Gill. A recording of this press conference will be available on the Sun Belt YouTube channel after it's over. We'll also have some quick transcribed quotes that'll be available on the Sun Belt website. We ask that if you would please silence your phones at this time. Each coach will make an opening statement. That'll be followed by questions for the student athletes first. When that's completed, we'll release the student athletes to go about their business, and then we'll take questions for the head coach. If you have a question, please raise your hand. We have a microphone somewhere here that we will get to you. Please give your name and affiliation. And for media joining us by Zoom, we ask you please type your questions into the chat, and we'll read them in the room. We're now joined by University of Louisiana Raging Cajuns, the champions of the West Division, making their 5th appearance in the championship game. We have head coach Michael Desormeaux, linebacker Casey Ossai, and quarterback Chandler Fields. And Coach, if you would, please give us an opening statement.
Certainly we're excited to be here. When everyone's season starts in August, this is the goal. We talked about that as a team, and, everyone's got the same goal. It's to be here, in championship weekend, and it's not about setting a goal. It's about working towards it every day. And I couldn't be more proud of our team, the resolve that they've had throughout the year. Certainly it takes a lot of people pulling in the same direction to get to this point. We're proud to be hosting this thing. Certainly excited about the matchup with Marshall, a really good football team, that's the best in the East. And that's what you want it to be on championship weekend. So, for us, it's been a lot of work that's gone into this moment to get here. For a lot of these guys, like these 2 in particular, it's been years on end for us to be able to get back to this point, and it's certainly something that we're looking forward to tomorrow night.
This time we'll take questions for the student athletes. Again, if you have a question, please raise your hand, and we'll get a microphone to you eventually, but right now you can just try to talk loud if you can. Please give your name and affiliation, and again, for those of you joining us on Zoom, please type your questions into the chat, and we'll read them. Questions for the student athletes.
Casey, talk about the size of their quarterback, the athleticism, and what it's going to take to contain him.
Yeah, he's a great quarterback. Watching film on him the whole day. It's just seeing him throw tackles off when he go high. So, obviously, he's going to be a good quarterback. It's a good challenge for us as a defense. We just got to run to the ball and tackle.
Chandler, talk about, you were here the last time we played a championship game here. What do you remember from that game? And what about just being the starting quarterback now that 3 years later?
Well, I'm just thankful for the opportunity to be here and play with this group of guys. But today in the team meeting, we watched a video of the past championship game, and I couldn't imagine going out there and feeling anything different than what happened that night. So we're going to do everything in our power to make that happen tomorrow night.
Talk about the pass rush. Obviously, I'm sure you've seen it, watched it on film all week, and what the great job that they do of putting pressure and trying to combat that.
Well, I think they have a great defense in general, and I think if you're in a conference championship game, you got to expect a great opponent. So that's what we're expecting, and we're looking forward to the challenge.
Casey, when you look at Marshall's offense, obviously it's not just the quarterback. What do they do well from your perspective, and what's the greatest challenge that this defense is going to face tomorrow?
I think they run the ball well. They have great receivers that they throw the ball, throw jump balls too. So I think what we have to do as a defense is just play fundamentally sound. I think if we do that, play well, run to the ball and tackle. At the end of the day, that's all it's about, just run to the ball and tackling. If we do that, we'll be fine.
When you're preparing for different running backs, obviously your offense too has different running backs. Does that kind of help you prepare for guys with different skill sets?
Yeah, I think we've played a ton of backs that are different, have different type of speed, different type of ways they run the ball. So we played a lot of backs like that this year. So I think that helped us in practicing and preparing for them.
Realized I forgot to introduce myself to Luke Creasy with HD Media in Huntington. Chandler, when you look at their secondary, what challenges do they present? Obviously, guys that fly around to the ball.
Well, I think they have tremendous speed on the back end, especially number 11, and then I just think they have a sound defense in general. So I think they have good scheme, and I'm looking forward to having a good battle.
Your coach said earlier this week that sometimes being the backup quarterback can be the hardest job on a team. But you've kind of been there in this moment before. You've helped win games to get to bowl eligibility, and now to the conference championship. What has this journey been like for you?
Well, I think I just stayed true to myself, and I'm thankful for a coach like Coach Dez that always believed in me and a team that's believed in me. So that makes it a lot easier. But just having an opportunity like this doesn't come very often, and I'm looking forward to it.
Casey, just talk about, you've been here a long time like Chandler has. I know y'all weren't happy 2 years ago and last year. So just talk about what it's like to have this season and to be in this moment. I'm sure you thought it could happen, but you had to make it happen. What is this moment like for you?
It's truly a blessing, honestly. Coming in my freshman year, I had that 2021 season, and just thinking that everything is going to go smoothly. You're going to win games every single year, go back to the championship every single year, and have those 2 years where we're kind of struggling, trying to figure ourselves out and find ourselves, and then just having this year, an amazing year, amazing group of guys. It's truly a blessing, honestly. I'm just taking everything in and just ready to compete.
Any other questions for the student athletes?
Jamarcus Fitzpatrick with KATC here in Lafayette. Casey, when you look at you guys from a run defense standpoint, like how important is it going to be to stop the run very early and try to make them as one-dimensional as possible?
Playing defense, I think stopping the run is always the most critical part as a defense. I think that Coach Salgado harps on that every single game, stopping the run. If you stop the run, you can pretty much control the game. So that would be our number one key, stopping the run, because it always is stopping the run every game we play.
Chandler, obviously turnovers play an important part in any game, but especially when you're talking about playing for a championship. These are two teams that take care of the football. Just walk me through your process of, making sure that you guys are careful with it and, and how you prepare for that throughout the week.
Well, I think as a team we have signs all over this building that say own the ball on offense and then attack the ball on defense. And I think if you want to win these type of games, you have to win the turnover battle, and that's probably ultimately what this game will probably come down to.
Any other questions for the student athletes? Seeing none, guys, we appreciate you being here. Good luck tomorrow.
Thank you.
Look, now they're going to roast me.
Thank y'all so much.
We'll now take questions for Coach Desormeaux.
Maybe there's none of those either. We're good.
Looks like you said everything there is to say.
That sounds good.
Hey, Coach, Matt Miguez with ESPN Southwest Louisiana. You've been an assistant on the first 4 teams that made a trip to the conference championship. What's been different about the lead up to this one, knowing that this time you're the head coach?
Nothing really other than this. I mean, truthfully, the biggest thing about being a part of a team, and it doesn't matter what your title is that your job is important and it's critical. And I felt like when I was an assistant, I felt like my job was just as critical as it is right now. The job's changed a little bit, but the reality of it is that, we tell these guys this all the time. If you're here and you're in this building, your role's important. And, to me, I'm a part of this team. I get to sit here with you and answer some media questions, but, as far as for what's different, it's a great team. It's a great group of kids that have believed, that have worked really hard to get here, and I'm proud to be a part of it. I'm proud to be on their sideline.
Luke Creasy, Herald Dispatch in Huntington. Coach, we talked in July about just rebounding from a 6 and 7 year, and now both of these teams that are playing tomorrow have done just that. How difficult is that to do? To mentally turn the page and know that when you're working with a clean slate that anything is possible at the beginning of the year to get to now.
I think what makes it hard a lot of times is the outside noise that seeps in, at times. And we talked as a team, and, I told you in July whenever we talked that I felt like we were really close to being this type of team. And we knew that in this building, even though a lot of other people maybe couldn't see that. I believe in the way that we built this team. I believe in the guys that are in this building, and I knew how close we were to getting what we wanted. And I told our guys this a couple weeks back. I don't know if you really understand what it means to be relentless in wanting something and almost obsessed with it until you've been really close, until you've been knocking on the door. And last year at the halfway point, we were sitting there in really good position to do something. We didn't handle that very well. And it motivates you and it drives you throughout the off season. And if you can ignore the noise and you can eliminate the distractions that are outside of the walls in this building, you got a chance every year. And our team, the thing that our team has done so well is we've stayed through everything, the good and the bad. We've been a team. And KC came up to me yesterday at the end of practice, and he said, man, he's like, I'm sorry, I know after your first game in the New Orleans Bowl, I promised you a bunch of more wins, and we didn't win quite as many as I wanted. I told him and I told the team today I wouldn't change a thing. Would not change one thing about what's happened and what's gotten us back here. For a little while it felt like it was easy. It almost felt like it was supposed to be that way, and that's not how it is. Seasons like this are special, and it's something that it takes a lot of work, and I wouldn't change a thing because I know who's really for us in this room. I know the guys that have been down for whatever was in front of us from the beginning. And the people that have supported you through it all. So there's a lot of value in that. When things are good, you think everybody's for you. You think everything's, everybody's, with you. And they're really not. And you find out a lot of those things. And for us as a team, we found it out, who was and who wasn't. We found out the guys that wanted to be here and who believed. And once you get a room full of people with the same goal and the same vision, it's not that hard. It takes what it takes. And, we had a group that kept believing, and that's something I'm proud of because I knew how close we were, and I knew this was a realistic possibility. But our guys had to do the work every day. It's not as simple as just saying, well, we believe, and it happens. You have to work every day, and they did. And, I think it means a lot more whenever you've been so close to it. You could smell it, but you couldn't taste it, and that's what it's been.
Elijah Nixon with KATC. Coach, close-knit group. You guys have a lot of seniors on this team, and I know they all play for one another. One of those guys that will not be on the field tomorrow will be Ben. How important is it to get this win? I know for one another, but for him as well, because he can get out there and show what he can do as that player that he is.
Well, I told our staff this the other day as we were kind of getting towards the end of the season. I said, we need to enjoy every second with this group because we've been a part of some really good teams before. I've never been a part of a team as close as this one. I've never been a part of a team as compliant as this one. I mean, these guys just do the work in front of them every day, and they play for each other. And, guys like Ben, I think, set the tone for our team and for what it is. No one's worked harder than that guy has. No one's tougher than he is. I mean, I've been around football my whole life, and I don't know if I've ever met a tougher human than this guy. And I think when your quarterback is that way, and him and Chandler year after year battling for the starting spot, it's made our team better. When your two quarterbacks that are really good players have to battle for playing time every year, and they have to battle for who the guy's going to be, everyone else in the building knows they're not safe either. And they better play, and they better step up. So for us to play really well for our entire senior class is a huge deal. To play well and go win a conference championship for a guy like Ben who can't play, I think it's a way of saying we appreciate that he's made our team better, and he has. And I think that he set the tone for everything that our team is. I was so happy for the postseason awards that he got. There's no way a quarterback has ever meant more to a team than that guy does to ours. I mean, there's no possible way. So for the rest of the league to recognize that, I'm really grateful for that, and I'm couldn't be for a more deserving person than what he is. So means everything to get this win for all those guys, but for him in particular. And he hasn't missed a beat. I mean, he's been here every step of the way. He's as involved as ever. He sits in game plan meetings during the week now, and it's just who he is.
Coach, you talked about postseason conference awards. Obviously, you got Coach of the Year there, and interesting fact, I'm sure you've heard it now. You had the Offensive Player of the Year back when you played. Now Coach of the Year, which is something that's never been done before. Obviously, all of this is not about you, and I know you're probably going to say that it's not about you, but just to hear that cool fact about yourself and to see the journey all the way from player and now to coach, how cool has that been for you?
I've said this for a long time, since I first got this job. I'm proud of this conference and what it is. I played here at a time where my first year we had to petition for our conference champion to get in a bowl game because they were 5-6. I've seen it grow from a conference where everyone was looking to get out to a conference where everybody wants to get in. And I'm proud to be a part of that. And I know, Commissioner Gill, they had a vision for what this conference was going to be, and we took a non-conventional route. We went after schools that football was important to, that had winning traditions, and you see what it's become. And I'm extremely proud to be a part of it. Listen, a Coach of the Year award, that's the biggest team award that there is. I've never seen a 6-6 coach get Coach of the Year. It doesn't happen. That's as much of a team award as anything. And I'm grateful. I'm honored to get that because of the respect I have for the other coaches in this league. I think this is good football. You got really good football players. You got really good coaches. But, man, this is as much of a team award as anything ever is. And, my playing days were a long time ago. The league wasn't as good as it is now. I say people all the time, I don't know if I could have got on the field today. So I'm grateful for it, but I'm more happy for the guys who did get their awards because, we wouldn't be here right now if it wasn't for them.
If there are no more questions for Coach, we appreciate it. Good luck to you tomorrow.
Thanks, guys.